Europe is at this massive crossroads, facing some huge questions that are going to define its future for generations to come. Today, we're going to explore a pretty unique program that gathers the continent's future leaders to tackle these very questions head-on. Let's dive in.
So let's start with the theme of the program itself, Rebirth or Irrelevance. Wow, that's not pulling any punches, is it? It tells you right away that the stakes are incredibly high. This isn't about small tweaks to policy, it's about Europe's fundamental place in the world. Okay, so why is a program like this so desperately needed right now? Well, to really get that, we've got to take a step back and look at the enormous challenges Europe's staring down, both from the outside and from within. And this right here, this really gets to the heart of it. All those big ideas that Europe was built on after the war, things like liberal democracy, peace through economic ties, and nations working together, well, we just can't take them for granted anymore. They're being tested in ways we haven't seen in decades.
So look, from the outside, the pressure is just nonstop. You've got war literally on the continent's doorstep, which is forcing a total rethink of security. On top of that, you have new global powers rising and even old allies using economic muscle in new ways. It's putting a huge strain on the open, rules-based system that Europe depends on.
And it's not just external threats. When you look inside Europe's borders, the problems are just as deep. Aging populations are straining welfare systems. Politics is getting more and more fragmented, which makes it harder to agree on anything. And when middle-class families feel like they're not getting ahead, it eats away at that basic social promise. That promise that your kids will have it better than you did. That's the glue that holds societies together and is starting to wear thin.
This quote just sums it up perfectly. That idea that Europe could just kind of coast along, that's over. The holiday from history is done. Europe can't just be a passive manager, reacting to one crisis after another. It has to find a way to get back in the driver's seat and start actively shaping its own future.
So the big question is, what do you do about all this? Well, one really interesting answer is this program we're talking about, the European Summer School. It's designed specifically to give a new generation of leaders the tools to tackle these exact challenges. Basically, it's a 5-day deep dive organized by the Universidad Francisco de Vitoria and COMES. It brings together young professionals, we're talking 25 to 35 years old, who are ready to really grapple with where the continent is headed.
And look, the aims here are, well, they're not small. This is about so much more than just listening to lectures. It's about giving them a new way to see what's happening, getting them in a room with actual decision makers, and most importantly, empowering them to go from just watching the crisis unfold to actually becoming part of the solution.
All right, so what's it actually like to be there for those 5 days? The whole thing is set up as an intellectual and human journey. And each day is built around one massive fundamental question about Europe's future. You can see how they've structured it here. It's a really logical progression. They start with the big one. What even is Europe? Then they move on to who Europeans are today with all the demographic shifts. From there, it's about action. Can Europe still get things done in the world? And it all builds up to looking at democracy's future. And finally, how we can possibly build a future together.
And these aren't just, easy theoretical questions. They're diving into the really tough stuff. Think about day 2. This isn't some abstract debate. It's about how the very face of European society, culture, and identity is being reshaped right now.
Or take day 3's big question. This brings us right back to that rebirth or irrelevance idea. In a world where you've got multiple centers of power, can Europe actually make a difference? Can it protect its own interests? Or is it just going to get pushed around? These are the absolutely critical debates they're having.
But here's the thing. This isn't just your typical conference with boring lectures. The whole experience, the where of it all, is a huge part of what makes it so powerful.
The whole thing takes place at this incredible historic abbey in Belgium, and that choice is so intentional. It's designed to pull you out of the day-to-day chaos, to give you a space where you can actually think deeply and have real conversations. And you really see the magic of it in this contrast. On one hand, you have the high-level, high-stakes world of European policy, but it's happening in this quiet, contemplative space. It's that unique mix of intense intellectual work and deep personal reflection that really makes it special.
The level of access here is just incredible. You're not just reading what some diplomat wrote, you're sitting down and talking with them. We're talking ambassadors, former presidents, top scholars, even current members of the European Parliament. It's an amazing opportunity.
Okay, so this probably has you thinking, who is this for? Is this for me?
Let's talk about who should apply and how you can grab a spot at the table.
So who are they looking for? Really, it's a mix of bright, engaged people between 25 and 35. Maybe you're just starting your career in policy or law. Maybe you're an academic who wants to get out of the library and into the real world. Or maybe you're just a citizen who cares deeply and wants to help make a difference. If that's you, this program is designed for you.
All right, let's talk about the practical side of things, the fees. Here's the breakdown. You can see the different options, but the really important thing to notice is that they have grants available for outstanding candidates. They're trying to make sure talented people can attend, which is great to see.
So if this sounds like you, here are the key details you need to know. The next one runs from June 29th to July 3rd, 2026. And to apply, you just need to send in a CV and a motivational letter explaining why you want to be part of this.
So, at the end of the day, it all comes down to this one question. It's the same question the program asks. In a time when so much is uncertain, what's your role going to be? Are you going to sit on the sidelines and just watch this crisis play out? Or are you ready to be an agent of change?